This tutorial will cover edit patient data on the iPad. Following this tutorial, you will be able to review contact information and take a patient photo, add or change a pharmacy for a patient, edit practice data to add a primary care provider and a referring provider. From the patient chart, touch More and edit patient data. Here we can review the patient's basic information, contact information, and employer information. This information comes forward from the practice management system. You cannot add an email to Ifinity EHR. This must first be documented in the practice management system. A patient photo can be taken on the iPad and saved to the patient's chart. To take the patient photo, touch the photo icon. Once you take the photo of the patient, if you don't like the photo, you can choose to retake the photo or use the photo. So we'll select Use Photo, and then we'll select Save. This photo will then replace the patient image on the patient's chart. This is the only place in Ifinity EHR that you'll be able to take a patient photo from their chart. The patient's insurance will come forward from the practice management system. Here you can review the insurances that have been assigned to this patient. Under the Pharmacy section, you can add a SureScripts pharmacy or add a manual pharmacy. To add a SureScripts pharmacy, we're going to select Add. And here we can do a search for a specific pharmacy that we're looking for. So we can select within the filters, we can document maybe a certain city, or this will automatically populate the patient's information from their system, and it'll show any pharmacies that are near where they live. I could also search for example, CVS, and then I can hit search here. This is going to bring up all of the different pharmacies that match that filtering criteria. And to add a pharmacy, you're just simply going to touch on the pharmacy, and that will add that to the patient's record. You can add more pharmacies by selecting the Add SureScripts and adding additional. The first one you add will become the default. If we decide to add another one, so let's type in CVS here and search. We can pick another one, and it'll add that one in, but notice the first one is the default. So if maybe the patient moves and we need to change the pharmacy, we can change it and set this as a default. We can also remove a pharmacy. The Add Manual Pharmacy option is if the patient goes to maybe a local pharmacy in their area that doesn't allow electronic prescribing. So this is maybe like a little small pharmacy that they have to hand deliver the prescription to the pharmacist to fill. The SureScripts pharmacy, this is going to pull from a national database of pharmacies that allow e-prescribing. The next section down is Practice Data, and here we can select the primary provider that this patient is going to be seeing within the practice. So if they always come in and see a specific provider in your practice, you can set that here, and that's going to default each time you create a visit. You can also scroll down towards the bottom, and there's patient referrals, and this is actually where you can assign the patient's primary care physician, or if they had a physician that referred them to your practice, you can document a referring physician. So you just simply select the drop-down menu and begin searching for the provider. This provider list will actually be set up and created through document management on the browser. So once we start searching for the provider we're looking for, we're just simply going to touch that doctor's name, and it now defaults as the primary care provider. So when we're finished here, we can select Save in the top right-hand corner, and then select Done. So now in the upper left-hand corner of the patient's chart, we're seeing that photo that we took of the patient. It replaced the patient image that was on the chart before, and this is now your navigation tool to come back to the patient chart by simply touching the patient photo. You will also see this photo on the browser through the patient's chart. Thank you for listening. We hope you found this tutorial useful. Please visit our support community to view additional tutorials.